Next, I'd like to introduce Suzanne Robertson from Aberdeenshire Council. She's a business development executive and has worked with us since the start of Invest in Peterhead. So, Suzanne, would you like to give us a little bit of overview of recent investments in the area?
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, John. Now, part of my role within Aberdeenshire Council sits within the economic development team. And our role really involves working with partners to support our business and communities. Now, the bid have talked a little bit around the Invest in Peterhead group and their purpose, and what I want really to take you through is the recent investment in Peterhead and the future opportunities within the town centre. Now, I'm going to pull up as part of the presentation some work that the group have done really over the past 6 months, which has involved really trying to capture all this different information into a brochure that we're able to hand out to any interested parties. Now, what I won't do, I won't go through it page by page. What I want to do is pick out some of the key highlights. And again, before we go into some of that key highlights, what I really want to highlight to everyone is just the work that's not only going on in Peterhead, but also the work in the wider area. So from a regional perspective, what's going on in the northeast, there's been quite a lot of activity over the last couple of years, and anyone that keeps up to date in terms of the Chamber of Commerce and their investment tracker will see the significant investment that's gone into the area. So the good news is that there's more of that to come. There's a regional economic strategy, the city region deal. We've got opportunity northeast. We've got a brief to anchor the oil and gas industry here while diversifying our economy. Town centre investment, and we've also got Visit Aberdeenshire, a destination marketing organisation, which will help to support tourism development. And obviously we've got regeneration, and part of our 4 key towns are part of this plan, as well as the formation and launch of Invest Aberdeen 2 years ago, which has been supported by both the city and shire councils responding to the regional economic strategy. Now, there's been significant capital investment in developing hubs to support both our food and drink ambitions, to increase exports and to support our northeast food producers. But in addition to this, there's also significant investment, which you've just seen probably, in terms of a new biohub. And again, that's to double the size of the to double the size of the life sciences industry here in the northeast. So why am I talking about some of these things that are happening in more a northeast and regional perspective? Well, the reason that I'm talking about it is that it's quite important in terms of the context of Peterhead. So if I bring back to this brochure here, and I'm going to take you through to the Northeast Snapshot. So if you take some of the regional projects that we're talking about in terms of food and drink, life sciences, and also the target sectors, what you'll see there is just the amount of activity that's ongoing, the size of those sectors, and how they contribute to Scotland as a whole. So you'll see that we punch well above our weight here. This information's been pulled together by Invest Aberdeen and really gives a good regional snapshot for not only investors looking at the northeast corner, but investors that are also looking into Peterhead and maybe view Peterhead as a hub for wider economic opportunities. So it's important not only just to look at what's happening in terms of Peterhead town centre and the outlying area, but also to look at the activity that's happening across the region. And I think what you'll see is that the northeast is going through a tremendous transformation at the moment. If we then take that down from a regional perspective down into really what's happened within Peterhead town centre over the last 2 years from 2018 really onwards, what you'll see is those significant investments that's gone in that will positively impact the town centre. So everything ranging from Aldi just on the outskirts of the town centre to the Travel Lodge with new accommodation, to some of our existing businesses that have looked at expansion as well, such as dressage. And I don't think there's a huge amount of towns in the northeast could put claim to the number of new businesses that have opened, such as this. Now I'm also going to just update this slightly in terms of the last year, and we're just going to bring you fully up to speed. So what you can see here is an updated version of the map. So we'd captured everything between sort of 2018 onwards, and really, as John referenced as part of his introduction there at the beginning, we've also got another new 6 businesses just opened in Peterhead Town Centre during the pandemic. So from a commercials lettings perspective, there's obviously quite a lot of confidence in Peterhead Town Centre. And I think quite a lot of that will have been brought forward in terms of the investment in the cinema. So from a town centre perspective, we've talked a bit about the investment that's going in, but we've also got some significant projects that are up and coming in terms of the Drummers Corner revitalisation project. We've got the Park Town Centre funding that's recently just been announced, and will have a positive impact in terms of town centre and residents living. And we've also got the opening of the New York Cinema as well. Now, at the time that we'd done this brochure, the cinema wasn't open. We then bring that into a Peterhead perspective. So again, what are the Peterhead strengths economically, where are the opportunities, and where do we really need to look to in the future? So we know that we've got a strong food and drink offering. We've got the #1 port in Europe. We've got significant investment going in terms of our processors, and we've been growing our fish landings again year on year. So if you take the opportunities around the port, you then look again and look at the future to say, well, what other projects are going to come through? Well, we've got the North Connect project that's looking at an electricity interchange between Norway and Scotland. Again, over £1 billion worth of investment, and again, that's going to be targeting the next sort of 5 to 6 years in terms of that project coming back online. We've got a very successful visitor attraction in terms of Peterhead Prison Museum. And again, when that attraction opened a couple of years ago, we're seeing in excess of 100,000 visitors per year. So again, a huge opportunity there. They've also worked in collaboration with the Brewtown, who've done some cross-promotional work between the Prison Museum and Brewtown. And again, that's been quite successful, supporting each other in trying to attract visitors to Peterhead. And from an educational perspective, we've got most of our businesses are looking to offer apprenticeships, whether that be from the larger ones through Score Group, or whether it be from businesses such as Equinor getting involved in terms of the STEM hub and helping to support that 100,000 investment that's going in at Peterhead Academy to make sure that we've got the youngsters coming through in 2 to 3 years' times to be able to meet those skills gaps. So you can see from every perspective at Peterhead, we're looking at investment from the port facilities to the town centre to the huge projects that are actually happening on the outskirts of Peterhead. So how does that feed in, and how does that influence in terms of the town centre? Well, we know, if I go back, that we've got the potential footfall there. We've got a cinema that's attracting people into the town centre. We've got a visitor attraction, and we've also got a number of new businesses plus the existing businesses that are attracting people there at the moment. What we do know is that we've got some gaps within the town centre, and I'm going to take you on to those, which have been identified through quite a lot of data and research from the local data company, looking at footfall numbers and also comparing Peterhead to other similar town centres. And when you compare Peterhead to other similar towns, what we found is that we've got some gaps. So we've got some gaps within food and drink, we've got some gaps within the digital technology sector, as well as family dining, leisure and fitness, and service sector, convenience stores, and the creative industries. So we know that compared to other towns of that size, there are gaps and opportunities for those types of businesses to come into Peterhead. And hence the reason that we've worked quite closely with our delivery team, and who will go into a bit more detail in terms of how do you take these gaps and these opportunities, and how do we start to move them forward to become reality, or to support those businesses and taking those premises on? So Lucy Stiles will cover a bit more of that in her presentation. So we know that we've got the ghost planning that's going to come next, and Lucy will break that down and confirm exactly what we mean in terms of ghost planning. But what we do know is from the businesses that have gone in, from the Brewtown to the Print Works to the Colley building that's been redeveloped, we know that each of those businesses, there was a gap identified there as well. So we know that if there's a market opportunity and there's a gap, we can help businesses or owners to then look at what the opportunities for those buildings will be moving forward.